Hey, how's everyone doing today? So, how to manifest when things are going bad? I was looking through some of my comments on a video, and then someone left this really powerful comment, and they said to me, "Hey, Mark, you know, it's easy to manifest when things are going good, but what about people who are experiencing a lot of negative things in their life? How can someone manifest when things are going bad? It's easy to manifest when it's all going good, but when it's going bad, hmm that is true, and that's something we have to talk about. And I'm going to show you how to fix that, because majority of people, of all of us, it's easy to manifest when it's all good, but the work comes in when it's bad, like when you're struggling, these difficult times you live in, financial stuff, all that's going on, people losing homes and jobs and all this stuff. It really becomes difficult to focus, right? So if you want to learn how to manifest when things are going bad, this is the video for you, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Now, first, we have to give some perspective on how all of this works. The first thing you want to realize to make this work, this is so important, is you got to disassociate yourselves emotionally with the current situation. Now, it sounds tough, but this is how it's going to work. What do I mean by that? Okay, you understand the situation you're in. You see you're facing difficulties, financial, whatever it is you're facing. You understand that. But your mind and the body now is going to be emotionally tied to that thing. Now, this is where you have to discipline yourself and kind of disassociate yourself. It doesn't mean to not care, to just, become nonchalant and just let everything pile up on you. That's not what I mean. It basically, it's a matter of your attention and focus. You got to learn how to ignore your current reality while reaching for that new reality. And this is where the balance comes in. So how can I ignore my current reality when it's so real, when I'm in these feelings, I got debt, I can't even think straight, you know? That's because your mind is controlling you. Your mind is doing all this stuff. You have to bring it back in. So what you want to start to do is, and this will help you. The truth is this: your current reality, like whatever you're in right now, the first mindset you have to understand is this is temporary. This too shall pass. That's the most powerful mantra you can use. Just say it like this. Gotta say your name and say like, okay, Mark, remember, this too is temporary. This too shall pass. You're giving comfort to the mind now. You're letting this is for the ego now. This is important because the ego is what's keeping you in this loop, because the ego is trying to figure out how I'm going to do all this stuff. So when you say, this is temporary, this too shall pass, it's going to calm your ego down. It's a good coach. So got that down. So you're calming your ego down. The next step you want to take now is to start to empower what you want to replace with this current reality. And this is a mindset now where you have to start to think optimistically. You have to learn to do this. Look, I'm going to tell you something straight up. None of us, majority of individuals, no one just magically came up like that. I, for example, I seen both sides of the spectrum. I was down and I'm up. So I know where this is coming from. There was a point that I got to that I didn't know how I was going to do what I was going to do. We've all been there, and it gets disheartening. But what I learned about that is I had to ignore my current reality, and that's what I used when I was in those tough times. I had to say that mantra, and it really helped me because it really got my mind to believe that, okay, so something's going to happen. And it got me more to do my work, my mental work. So you have to do mental work. And now, if you want to come out of a bad situation, if you want to manifest something while down and out, you have to be disciplined. You're going to have to do this. If you cannot become disciplined, if you cannot have a faith, if you cannot build a belief, it's not going to work, guys. And you're capable of doing all of this because it's already in you. You can do it. And the key is, and let me give you something that's going to make this a whole lot better for you to understand. Reality that the things that we're living in right now, it's not permanent. it may look like that to you, but it's actually moving and changing every single moment of every second. Our eyes, we can't see beyond the veil of reality. We only can see the surface structure, but behind it all, it's nothing. It's like this. It's energy. You can move it, man. So that, with that mindset, you gotta understand that, okay, my situation right now is just temporary, and I can make it, change it to become a different reality. So this takes now what you want to do when you get to this state. So let's say you understand this. Okay, this is temporary. Now start to focus on the goal you'd like to see happen. So if you want to get out of debt, if you want to make more abundance, now you have to start to see in the mind. Now visualization is so important. This is the missing link. You have to learn to visualize. If you can't, you got to start scripting or writing it down, and you have to make this a habit, because this is the only way you're going to change that synaptic pruning in the brain. It's all about changing the mindset, bro, guys. So every night you should go to sleep, and you got to fall asleep visualizing. You got to close your eyes. You got to see that goal in the end. You don't have to, it doesn't have to make sense. You don't have to make it a beginning, a middle. You go right to the end. So what would it look like to be out of debt? What would it look like to have a new job? What would it look like to be in that new house? Put yourself there, point blank. See yourself in the house. See yourself working where you want to. See yourself out of this new position, situation. And as you do that, you will slowly take yourself out of the rut. That's the way you're going to manifest while in a bad situation. Because if you can't focus on this, you're going to keep in that spell. Now, your mind will let you know, or try to attempt to tell you that no, this can't work. Well, I'm seeing it. Guys, remember how the mind works, guys. The mind is giving you images or illusions. It's its perception of what it sees happening currently. The mind can't see the opportunities. It can't see the endless option. It can't see the unimaginable. You got to remember that in your head. Just because you're where you're at right now, it's not the end. It's just a point. It's look, in your life, you're always doing this. Boom, 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 boom. You will never stop. Even when you think you're down and out, you're never down. You're always moving. So the point is, keep moving, keep making progress. Little progress, little progress. And it's not an action progress or a forced progress. I'm talking about a mental progress, because the mentality, the mindset will create the physical progress, or the stuff you see, point blank. So if you learn to start getting into your head and start to see the vision daily, and then you start to use subliminals. They're so powerful, subconscious subliminals, man. It's like the $1 million secret. And so many of them are out there. You know, my channel has a lot. You can find good ones, and if you start to make a habit of listening to them every night while sleeping, and then you start to visualize, and then in the morning you keep your mind again on what you want, and then you talk to your ego and tell your ego, hey, this is temporary, this too shall pass. And you keep focus, and you keep the faith. The faith is going to build, the belief is going to build, and now you're going to start to see openings. This is where you're going to, opportunities now are going to start to come, and you're going to start to slowly see a change. So how do you know this? How do I know this? Because I've experienced the very same thing. I've been through it. I was there. I was that person. And many individuals have the same issue. It's just how the mind works. See, the thing about the mind is, it does a fantastic job of convincing you that this is real. The mind does that so well. It gives you the idea that this is permanent. It always puts you in a mindset of there's no hope. I can't see how this is going to change. And that's really because the mind is just so limited. And if someone doesn't know this or understand that, you're going to be in that bad vibration. But now I'm telling you this. That's just how your mind works, guys. I mean, if you think about it, go back. Think about when you were like a little kid or a baby. Or right now, if you look where you're at right now, back then, you could never imagine where you're at right now. Like, some of you may have big dreams. You may accomplish big stuff. Think about a few years ago. You could, when you were thinking about what you want, you couldn't think that, man, all the stuff that I'm experiencing right now, I would never think I would be doing this. See that? That's to show you how the mind works. That's the way you have to think when it comes to manifesting from bad energy. And you know, I'm not going to tell you guys and say, oh man, you know, it's easy to do. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is once you start, it will become easy because your job is to create the discipline. So that's how you want to keep in mind, guys. To manifest from a bad point or a bad state is to understand what's happening in your reality. That is just temporary. Okay, it can change. And the next step now, I have to go into my mind. So I have to start to live as who's it? Neville Goddard said it, right? I have to start to live as the dream fulfilled. And you got to do this over because, guys, you're impressing your unconscious. That's where you're going with this. You want to get to that unconscious because that is what's going to change your circumstances. It's not going to come from the analytical mind. Analytical mind will only interpret it, but you want to change your subconscious, and you got to use your analytical mind to get to your subconscious. This is why you got to get your ego on board to understand this concept by saying, look, here's the mantra again. Look, this is temporary. This too shall pass. My position is temporary. This too shall pass. And comfort the mind. It will start to change. Boom, you'll start to get out of that negative rut. And here's another big tip. It's okay to be in a negative rut. It's okay to have bad emotions. It's okay to feel down. Don't hide your feelings. Don't try to push them aside. What you want to start to do, guys, when it comes to your feelings now, acknowledge them. Because in order to change them, the subconscious has to recognize them. So if you know you're feeling down and you know you're in a bad situation, it's not, okay, say accept it. Say, all right, I know I'm in a bad situation. I got this. Because that's going to be the beginning to change your emotions. Never try to ignore your emotions. Feelings are guidance systems. They're telling you something. A lot of us, when we have negative feelings or emotions, we try to ignore them. Accept the emotions to know that, okay, I'm feeling this way. By accepting the feeling, you'll start to change the program. Okay? So don't ignore it. Accept it. Work on it. And that's your tool, and you will start to manifest. Change your reality, and you'll manifest from a state of badness into a state of goodness.